Díomh a cháirde tá fáilte roimh go Leavingcertirish.com is mis Seán Gavin. Tá fáilte roimh go dtí an talach I gunda an chláir maidin nó umthráinóna this afternoon. Tá gom go bhfuil si bheith down the Sláinte. I hope that you're very well at the moment. Obviously there's a lot going on in our world currently, and this is an effort to try and help you as best as possible to, I suppose, over the next couple of weeks, go through some material that will help you. I've been teaching online since 2001, so Leavingcertirish.com has been in existence in various different formats, but essentially I've been doing this since 2001. So many of you are using the various different notes and facilities we have on our website and on the YouTube channel and in our courses section as well, which I can talk about later. Many of you are familiar with what I do, but I suppose we're into a whole new different game for the next couple of weeks and possibly months. And I've received a lot of emails in the last 24 hours, a lot of emails. A lot of you are very anxious and very concerned about what's happening. I as a teacher am concerned for you and for particularly the well-being of my own students. But I think it's important to stay very calm and to stay focused, because right now there's nobody can tell you what is or isn't going to happen. I think we have to just kind of briefly discuss the issue and move on from there, because I really don't want to have to handle a whole series of questions, the what ifs, throughout this session. But I think the main thing that you need to do, and this is for your parents' sake as well, because a lot of them are probably very concerned about the Leaving Cert and what might be happening. I think it's really, really important that you would spend a little bit of time kind of laying out a plan for the next couple of weeks and possibly months, and to assure your parents, and I suppose give yourself a bit of comfort as well, that I can actually do an awful lot of catch up in particular. There's plenty of you, I'm sure, that need to do plenty of catching up, but more than anything else, if you stay focused, at some point you will be examined, and there's various different people saying, oh, will the orals go ahead, whatever. My expectation is that the orals will go ahead, and whatever solution is found, it's a solution that's going to apply to schools all over the world. This isn't a unique problem to Ireland in terms of getting final year students through their exams. So I just thought we need to just kind of put it to bed that it's really important to stay focused, keep doing your work. Who knows when we're going to be back in school, but we will at some point end up being examined. So look, I'm here to help you. My job is to try and help as many people as I can, because I have the technology and the ability and the facility to go live every day, to be available on our chat forum within our course, to be able to assist in whatever way I possibly can. And I'm really looking forward to helping as many people as I can. So today is going to be about going through, I thought, of all the topics on Córas, Sláinte, a little bit on Coróinvíreas, just maybe a few little ideas and comments that you might be able to use as part of an oral I've included in the lesson today. So we're going through a full essay on Córas, Sláinte in Éireann, and we're going to also take a look at some of the grammatical points that come up. So one of the things I love teaching about grammar, and one of the things that I will hope to do for all of you in these lessons over the next couple of weeks is to kind of give you a sense of how you can get in control of your grammar a little bit, because it might be something that when you're very busy with so many subjects that you don't really deal with. So that'd be my plan. Now, I just want to check one or two little things. First of all, there is a chat forum, and if you're on an iPhone, it's kind of at the bottom of the screen. If you put your phone into portrait mode, you'll be able to go to the bottom of the screen and type in any comments that you might have. I suppose the first thing I want to check, if I can, is I just want to check that we're okay on the chat form. So if you could send in some comments there, just say something, say anything, and I'll just make sure that chat is coming through okay. Hopefully it is. All right, so we'll just go through. I'll just check here, and I can just put something into the chat here, and just can everyone hear me okay? Because If you can't, that's a problem. With this live streaming, you never know. So if you could just, a few people respond to the comments and just let me know, can you hear me? Yeah, okay, Jack, that's great. Thank you. You might just let me know, just give me an idea of where you are in the country. You know, it'd be great to, in the text, where are you? Oh, Dias Murgat, Louise, or Leisha, actually. You might just let me know, King Hunte in Wilshire, where are we? Sligoch, Donegal, Tyrone, Cowilshire, Intach or Fad. So, Inish, that's a top, Jesus, tá go leor sa chat. So, beg si bhanaun sin eáil agus nuair a bheith ceistena á phlé i gcuin, is féidir libh iad a chur isteach sa chat an sin. Tásúla gom gur féidir le gach duine an chat eáil. Agus, you know, rud amháin eile is féidir linn dhéanamh. Tá nacia beaga gom an seo, fan nómid, tá fón beaga gom, so is féidir libh ceiste a churm an bhón más mín libh chomá. So tá daoine ó gach cearn na tíre tá sibh go léireann, tá sé iontach ar fad an méid seo daoine eáil. So, tá cúpla ceist, there's a couple of questions that people have sent in, topics that people would like to see covered. As you can see there, I have a course, and I can talk about that later, but everything that would need to be covered, every single possible thing would be under the course. It's limited how many things we can cover within the live sessions, but I will be covering all of the main stuff, the key stuff that you want to have a hope on. Oh, Canada. Wow. Tá sé sin do chreide. Rénos. Lena míad raig. Lenig an ceach seo raig go dtí hart beidir cén tá man is sé. Lena sé go dtí hart carú con a hain number sin. So súla dia beag si bhanaun fannacht lom. Alright, so tos míad leis an gceacht féin. I'll just go off the screen. You don't need to be looking at me. A rís má tá ceisne a goibh seolgaí isteach iad. If you have questions, send them in and we'll try to deal with them. I'll try and scroll up and down and see what questions we have to deal with. So, Rylin, an céad rud ná tá cúpla ceiste gom, you know, an seo. Conas tá sé bhíh mothú faoi láthair. I suppose, a mothíonn tú faoi bhrú na léithanta seo. Do you feel under pressure at the moment? And I suppose lots of people at one level or another probably do feel under a little bit of pressure. So, an mothíonn sibh faoi bhrú. Well, níl aon doubt ar bith faoi, no, níl doubt ar bith faoi, ach bhfuilm faoi bhrú na léithanta seo. There's no doubt about it, but that I'm under pressure nowadays. Agus go nairíonn brain den stadir orinthe, and I get fed up with a study sometimes. So, brain den stadir, I become fed up of study orinthe sometimes. Is kinda brú lanúnach shiúil a bhína gceist. So it's this kind of continuous pressure that's in question. Now, just as I think of it before I go any further, what I would recommend that people do as part of these classes is what you should be trying to do is write down key terminology. Don't just watch the lesson. You know, the same as if you're inside in a classroom, you need to take the view that I'm taking down notes from my teacher in my notebook. I'm building my vocabulary, and that is the key thing, because that is part of the learning process. If you're just watching the lessons kind of vacuously, you're not going to do anything or learn anything. And there's so much information I'm going to cover, you know, trying to catch up is going to be difficult. So my recommendation is you write down key terminology, and you know, you will definitely engage with the lesson better, and the time will fly if you do that. So that's just to clarify, but back to our iPad here. So is cinál brú leanúnach siúil a bhína gceist. It's kind of this continuous pressure. Ní mílam a bheith ag cnámh seáil. Now here's a lovely phrase for you. Many of your parents might use a phrase like a cnámh seálaí. I don't want to be complaining or grumbling. That's a lovely phrase to know. So ní mílam a bheith ag cnámh seáil, and we'll all probably be using that phrase quite a bit. Ach ní higann dína fásta an méid ibre. So Tisha Ginnock, we'll be talking about Tisha Ginnock in a minute. An méid ibre, an méid ibre, depending where you're from. grown-ups don't understand the amount of work a bhín le déanamh ag lucht na háirteiste. They don't understand how much work leaving certs have to do chuile lá or gach éin lá every day. Dás an túlach ibre. So the an túlach ibre is the burden of work or the weight of work. Dá sé it grew rih an nullig before Christmas. Agus phléasc sé and it exploded. Phléasc sé. Cúpla seachtain rih na raibh scrúdathe, a couple of weeks before the pre-examinations. Níl éon srín, there's no end, there's no stop leis an méid ibre a bhín le déanamh go gach lá. Ach ní dóilm go nathróid cuasaí, but I don't think that matters will change. Idir seo agus tús na scrúdathe. I changed these notes slightly there last night because it was saying, agus tús na mail trílacha, but anyway. So I don't think things will change a whole lot between now and the start of the exams. Noig, of course, Vedig an Gheirchéim Coróinvíreas. So one of the key terms that we're all going to be using in our exams is this, an Gheirchéim Coróinvíreas, the coronavirus crisis. Vedig sé an stress bhealach. It increased the stress in a way. Mar tá dulléire, because there's a kind of a lack of clarity ag buint le cuasaí scoile faoi láthair, because there's a lack of clarity regarding schoolwork faoi láthair presently. Tuigeann na múntóirí an brú atá arainn inis. The teachers understand the stress that is on it. So teachers understand, or tuigeann siad go maith an brú atá arainn faoi láthair. Ach é sin ráta, but having said that, Leanan an obair araig, gan stad, gan stena. It's a lovely phrase to have. The work continues on, gan stad, gan stena. The work continues relentlessly, never ends. So sin an céad rud tá gom an seo, agus leanan míad araig tá. Cúpla scálan a gom an seo. I've got a couple of screens here. Agus just rihimi tríú. We'll run through them before we get on to the essay there now in a few minutes. Okay. Cé ceann eile. So on ábhar imní dits, is it a source or a cause of concern that gohfuil an coronavirus escapa, that the coronavirus is escapa or iglaha? You can use one of two phrases, escapa or iglaha. So der príomh ifagach leis na rinne Sláinte, the Chief Medical Officer of the Department of Health, Dr. Tony Holland, there sé go scapig an coronavirus in Éireann. He says that it will spread in Ireland. An rud is deacra faoi ngéirchéim seo. So the most difficult part about this crisis is now go bhfuil sé deacar a chóir. It's hard to predict cad a thorlóig as seo amach. So an Albert seo, I would say, is really essential. If you're going to be doing anything in a written or an oral exam, I'll just make the screen a little bit smaller so everyone can see it. So if you're going to be doing anything about an Veil Trail or anything, Capadort, you're going to need a phrase like this. So the most difficult thing is to predict what is going to happen from now on. Multar doing, we're advised, or it is advised to us, whichever way you want to say it, we're advised of a feinach ach cormac, to be patient yet careful. Sorry, I'm just messing with that. Of a feinach ach cormac, to be patient yet careful. Ignam kena. Shishin need the law of agreelta. Wash your hands regularly. Be san ardal or chorhi and tinish. Be looking out for chorhi and tinish, the signs of the illness. Agus cludig the veil, and cover your mouth ma hussy into a casachtach if you start coughing. Do not skulna or fudna tira. So I have to be a little bit careful with this, because obviously if it's for bail trail, the verbs could change around. But I'm going to try to be as clear as I can be for the moment anyway. So do not skulna, schools were closed, or fudna tira, agus Neo Slofer Rishi, they won't open again go count Tamil. So that's where we are currently. That's the language you use currently. Tan virus tulka ag dalti oraha in yigdo fila ohoras schola synodod. So certain students have contracted, there's a phrase people are looking for, have contracted the virus having returned from a school tour in Italy. Mar sin, therefore, tá sé de gulgus arin sríinte chur lenar dangavad. So this is a wonderful phrase again you'll use. We have a responsibility sríinte chur lenar dangavad. We have a responsibility to restrict our contact, and then lenar dangavad ho sílte our social contact go ceann tamil for a while. Tá iirecht mhór á dhéanamh ag mo bhuntóirí. My teachers are making a great effort. Chun teagaisc alternach. So here's a, again, key phrase you'll be using going forward, hopefully. Chun teagaisc alternach a chur fáil, to make alternative teaching available, doing to us or for us. Noig, of course, is over imni é seo de lucht na haar teste. Of course, this is a cause of concern, de lucht na haar teste for leaving certs. De lucht na haar teste. Agus muide golfu, as we're preparing, I gord na mail trilacha, a vi chun tosu, preparing for the oral exams that were to start reviewing the misa before the end of the month. Sula dia, hopefully, chukfer a retach golua. A solution will be found soon. So sula dia, hopefully, please God, a solution will be found soon. Okay, agus an counternach banner an over shot, lanamid raig chuige, agus anish, and will ein tourmagot fwy na bantry agus na doctory in Erin. So tá sé seo riachtanach. This is going to be essential for you to know again going forward. You know, doctors and nurses are doing an incredible job. Their sacrifices are amazing right now, and it's lecher iad. You know, they're absolute heroes. They're warriors of a kind. I just put in the term is angel iad. That's a plural of angel. Is angel iad. They are angels. They are absolute angels. So you could put in the term, like if you wanted to use lecher, you could go with lecher if you wanted to do that. So lecher, you could do that. There's my bad handwriting. So you could go with lecher, but it's angel iad. Gachen dinako, every single one of them. In aum an gáter. Now here's a lovely phrase for you. You may know this phrase from anyone who's gone through my Antriel stuff. In the time of need, or at a time of need, is Iadson atá imrullach an chaha. And here's a wonderful phrase. Imrullach an chaha. They are in the front line. It is they who are in the front line. Is this oral or essay I'm being asked here? This actually will cover both. What you'll find is an awful lot of the information that I do is applicable across both. I'll talk in another lesson about, you know, how you cross over. So I'll just kind of say for right now, most of the material that I'm looking at just this very second before we get on to the essay is specifically for the oral, but what you'll find is that you'll be able to weave some of it in into your essay, into your capadort. But good question. Is fear and shanokal sorry, I never finished that. So in Aum Gauter, at a time of need, it is they who are to the fore in Mrullach and Caha at the front line, Ixalahar Servishi Light, delivering health services done notion to the nation. Is fear and shanokal, the old saying goes, or the old proverb, or the old saying is true, Ni Nyarka Curla Kela. There is strength in unity. If you haven't come across that shanokal before, make sure you put it down, because you're going to be using it over and over again, I'm quite sure, as the weeks and days pass. Agus Kahmi Shasav Lechela Nish Kun Karulo, and we have to stand together now to help them. Tá athnagum chúpla banalta agus doctor in Mochiantar. After cúpla, I always have singular, so I know a couple of doctors and nurses in my area. Athnim, I recognise on stress agus imni atá orthu. I recognise the stress and worry that they have na leanta seo these days. Agus bína jailig bortha fuhu chuma, and their families are worried about them also. Níléon stop, níléon srín, you could say as well, leis an úlach ibre atá orthu. We mentioned that phrase about yourselves earlier. On níléon stop leis an úlach ibre. Now the phrase is on túlach, the load, the weight. It's a masculine phrase, but after leis an you drop the T. So leis an úlach ibre atá orthu. So there's no stop, there's no end to the weight of work that they are experiencing. It's brú damanta. It's terrible pressure. You know, people use the phrase brú fósaché, but it's brú damanta. It's terrible pressure. Agus bíonn si tíirseach tréachta an tamar fad, and they're absolutely exhausted the whole time. So, Cluster Dina I Garan Fringor Sláinte Gomininic. So we're about to do an essay cutting the health service apart, but Cluster Dina I Garan Fringor Sláinte Gomininic. One often hears people giving out about the health service. Ach ní Cluster Dina I Tortamach Fi Vanaltrim. We don't hear people giving out about nurses. Tá siad ag strachel gegéir fi láthar. They're struggling terribly at the moment. Ach Tom Kinta fi Rodawam, but I'm sure about one thing. No san ir vig Sadan Farlas de Lampi. How many people here have studied Farlas de Lampi? I'm just wondering. No san ir vig Sadan Farlas de Lampi, like the little man in Farlas de Lampi. Tógig siad an solaslo pay out of siad. They will bring the light with them wherever they will be or wherever they will go. Okay, so Shin on Caquid, that's the first part of our lesson this morning, looking at what the topical issues will be when it comes to oral exam, giving you the opportunity to start thinking about what you'll say when you get into that scenario, or thinking about how you will use this Gaeilge sort of coimtre, this contemporary Irish language that you're going to be experiencing, that you're going to see on TG on tourish.ie. There's a lot of different new terminology that's going to come into our vocabulary, I suppose. And the idea would be at some level that you would try to use it if this is a topic that you're going to go into. And of course, not everyone is going to talk about on Coróinvíreas. I might want to avoid it by the time we get to it. Okay, so on the chat side of things, how are we doing here? So I'll just have a quick look. Sean is asking, will these notes be available to download? So what we're doing, Sean, is all of the notes are within our course. So you might have seen at the start, any notes that we are doing are available on courses.leavingcertirish.com, and you will be able to download anything within that. The replays, etc., are all within that, contained within that as well. So this live stream is designed to give you access to the tutorial, the lesson itself. If you go to courses.leavingcertirish.com right now, the actual notes for this lesson are up as a free preview, so you can actually download them right now if you want to do that. So I can put the link in the chat there in a few minutes if necessary. Okay, so Mátá gacéine carcolor lanime raig. If everyone's okay, I'll continue on here to the main event, I suppose, for a lot of people, which is on Ashta, on Córas Sláinte in Éireann sa bhliain dhá bhíothas sa fiche. So this is very detailed. This is a premium essay that people have been buying for actually the last 2 years. I never saw so many people buy one essay as I saw last summer, and the way the title around the health service, or wasn't the health service, came up, people got completely caught out. Now, I never recommend that people learn off an essay. It's all about building your language across a variety of subjects, which comes back to, is this or was the material I just covered to do with the oral, or was it to do an essay? You need a variety of language. You need to have that fluency, that ability to mix and match and dice and splice and come up with what is the most appropriate essay for your language on the day of the exam. So we'll continue into this now. Córas Sláinte in Éireann sa bhliain dhá bhíothas sa fiche. So if anyone's any questions, there's a question there from Hannah about doing a class on grammar and verbs. I will be doing classes on grammar and verbs, certainly. Within the premium course, there's going to be a specific dedicated section there in the next few weeks dealing with what are the most common issues that people need to sort out, and a more advanced section for those people who want to do that. Okay, so on Córas Sláinte in Éireann sa bhliain dhá bhíothas sa fiche, the health service in Ireland in the year 2020. So again, you should be taking down key terminology. There's a lot in this, and at the end of it, I've identified 9 examples of, on Tisha Ginnock, just dealing with Hannah's question about grammar, I've identified 9 different instances of the Tisha Ginnock within this essay that you should be thinking about learning or knowing how to resolve it. It's actually the easiest one of the lot. So we'll deal with that at the end of the essay. Okay, how are we doing here, guys? I'm just wondering. I'm kind of in the dark as regards what people are thinking. Are we happy with how this is going? Am I doing this the wrong way? I have done loads of live streams before, but we've got huge numbers in today, and I just want to make sure that this is okay. Question from a few people now is, will the oral be going ahead? Yeah, I can't give you a definitive answer to anybody on that, but my expectation is that it will at some point. How it will go ahead might be a different issue, but the expectation is that it will go ahead. So that would be where I see things right now. Okay, so hopefully everyone is happy enough, and I'll continue on. On Córas Sláinte in Éireann, Bhíonn fifth. I think that's about the fifth time I've said that. An té nach meran an gano, beran an gano So, the person, an té, the individual who does not get to grips with the work, nach meran an gano, beran an gano the work will get to grips with them. In other words, if you don't sort things out, it's going to catch up with you. Ní gá domsa an seanokal sin a víniú don ara Sláinte. I don't have to explain that seanokal to the ara Sláinte, Shimon Harki, Simon Harris. Os rud é go bhfuil sé I bhail ar Córas Sláinte na tíre seo le cúpla bliana anuas, as he has been in charge of, I bhail is in charge of, so as he has been in charge of, I bhail ar Córas Sláinte na tíre seo le cúpla bliana anuas, in charge of the health service of this country for a number of years now. To tell the truth, tá trúgam dó ar bhealach. To be honest, I feel sorry for him in a way. Mar nuair bhín gauntanas agad sa tír, because when there's a lack of money, nuair bhín gauntanas agad, or nuair bhín agad gaun, you could say as well, bín sé jacker fiaus a chur ar gach scale. It's difficult to improve everything. É sin ráta, having said that, nochtar snaman, it is revealed in the media, nochtar snaman. Gamín ulchatichus, that there's massive expenditure, ulchatichus, sa Córas Sláinte gaplín in the health service every year. Ach fector dumsa, but it seems to me, fector dumsa, a nice little phrase to have, gur nulcus atá cuasaí dul, that things are getting worse. Ní féidir leis an ara héine, the minister cannot deny, nach bhfuil dóhan agad, that there isn't sufficient money. So this one, these phrases, I just put a little red highlight on it, that there isn't sufficient money being spent ahav ige ar chorum leish on healthcare, agus ar irgan of nua, and on new buildings. Kegur ogre she cúpla blino hin, even though he announced a couple of years ago, godogfi, now here's a big phrase for you, godogfi muronad lornaha nua. So that new centres of excellence would be, and this is mokiniluk, free verb, briar ser, godogfi mur onad lornaha nua, that new centres of excellence would be built. So new centres of excellence would be built. Fud na tira. Ach, near Harsha Gafol, but it hasn't happened yet. So near Harsha Gafol, Monorahu Ara, Shema new minister. Now, I need to be careful here today because I don't want to be openly criticising someone who's in the depths of a major crisis, but you will understand this has been, this essay, this particular approach has been in place for quite some time, and the actual syllabus that you've covered hasn't changed and won't change by the time you do your exam, so that's an important point. Okay, Kig Quidella. Okay. So, Richard, I take your point. I need to just maybe slow down a little bit. I suppose I'm trying to be careful here that I don't run over too much time. A little bit slower. Gotcha, Alicia. And you understand my point there as well. So, thanks, guys. I'm just every now and again I'm taking a look at the chat just to make sure that I'm doing what you need here. Farir, alas. Titan cúpla scanal nua amach gach ein bhliain. Alas, unfortunately, a couple of new scandals. So I mentioned earlier with cúpla, you always use the singular. So cúpla scanal nua. So alas or unfortunately, a couple of new scandals. Titan siad amach, that means they fall out, they happen. Gach ein bhliain every year. Le bliana anuas for a year now. tá an rialtas extracult go géir. The government is struggling desperately. So again, a phrase we saw this morning talking about the, on Coróinvíreas, extracult go géir. For the past year, the government has been desperately struggling. Leis na scandal, with the scandals, a winning leis na tástálacha carvaxach. So these are the cervical tests, or the cervical cancer tests. So na tástálacha carvaxach. There's a big phrase for you. And again, I'm always talking about store focal. It's really important to have the vocabulary specific to the topic, and that's the kind of phrase that's really H1 top end store focal that you need to be trying to integrate. Na listi fehev olvora, the massive waiting lists. So again, very important if you're going to talk about this massive waiting list. Agus costas Ospedale Náisiúnta na Lani, and the cost of the National Children's Hospital. Nóriach an Córas, the system was shamed. So Nóriach an Córas Sláinte sa tíre. So the health service in this country was shamed. Nóriach Nor a flesk an scale faoi cervical check. When the story about cervical check, nor flesh when it exploded amach. When it exploded then Cador for the first time. Irihanaric during the summer 2018. Higamer, we understand, on Olus Escapus Naman from the information that was spread in the media. Cared a horla the oher, what happened to patients? Now you'd all know the phrase on Topical, for those of you who went away and learned off the Irish essay for the junior cert and the timpiste, hitche don roher agus hánig an Topical, or whatever you went with. Oher are patients, and Oherlin is also in a hospital. You don't have to use just hospital the whole time, so you can vary your writing here. So Oher are patients. So Cerda Horla Doher are nos Vicky Phelan agus Emma Vic Vahuna. So we understand what happened to patients such as Vicky Phelan and Emma Vic Vahuna. Furshidamach, they found out the hashma. So the hashma is a nice phrase to know. It just means by chance. So they just found out by chance Gunyarnak Botun Olvora that massive mistakes were made. Massive mistakes. Botuin Olvora. Massive mistakes were made. Madra Leshna Tostalacha Carvaxacha regarding the cervical tests. A rinnagar that were carried out on them. Shall Fada Rivishin. A long period of time. Shall Fada, if you don't know the term, Shall Fada Rivishin, a long time before that. Savolakershin, or Savolakar Machin, on top of all that, Furchidamak, Gur Kunich na Turhi Laisha, they found out that these health results, or tests if you like, Turhi Laisha, were kept free room de Gano, and that means that they were concealed, free room, kept secret, de Gano, on purpose. Anish Agus Ailsha Golaista Orhu, and now with incurable cancer. So Ailsha Golaista, if something is Golaista, it's incurable. Iscanal Dochreta Afade. It's an absolutely unbelievable scandal altogether. Okay. Gandout the Ufos on Down or in Marhochi. Without a doubt. We were horrified. The Ufos on Down or in Marhochi. We were horrified as a society. Agus muide geistach le scéalta muitnacha, as we were listening to the emotional, tragic stories of these women. You'll be familiar with the song Slieve na Man. So the Tisha Ginnerach of Slieve na Man applies here. Of the women, it's Tisha Ginnerach plural. Okay? So if you just look at this here, Slieve na Man, it's scéalta tragodacha na Man. So that's actually Tisha Ginnerach Ivra Olra. Ivra Olra means plural. So that's the genitive plural. So if you're trying to think of the women, Slieve na Man, the women's mountain. So Scéalta muithnacha tragodacha na Man, a dulling Kinunt Hubbestoch, who suffered a disastrous fate. Fui Chorum an Stat, under the state's care. Fui Chorum an Stat, Tishkinach, and I'll come back to that one later. Imohurum is lecher náisiúnta iad na Menasha. In my opinion, these women are national heroes. Gomormore Vicky Phelan, especially Vicky Phelan, incredible woman. Shasan Shiamach, now here's a great phrase for you all, you'll be writing this one down. Shasan Shiamach Marliner Dochish. So she stands out as a ray of hope in Nivachon on Vroin, in the depths of sorrow. Okay, great phrase. So Shasan Shiamach Marliner Dochish, she stands out to us as a ray of hope in the depths of sorrow. A Olam Yin Gachain Dinako, that every one of them suffer, Agus Aglana, and of course their families. Ernoig, of course, beggar and stot, the state will have to Nahe Goracha Achutiv. So the state will have to compensate for these injustices. So beggar hut Nahe Goracha Achutiv. Ach dimig Emma Vic Vahuna Erlin Firna Hanafen, but unfortunately Emma Vic Vahuna has dimigshi Arlene Firna. She passed away Hanafen already. Gunyena Diagras Darhi. May God rest her. Begar Huin Ern Sale Shaw. So her lifespan was short, or she had a short lifespan in this world. Ernos Galore Ella Kusulehi Mullane. Like a lot of others, Mullane, unfortunately, or I regret. Okay, so I'm just going to just stop here for 1 second and just see how we're doing in terms of the chat and what people are saying. And William Keshnig and Buinta Shaw. I'm not sure. So Penny is asking a question there about Dina. Is it Digene? Not sure. So really good, bit slower, fair play, right? All good. So I'm just looking through the comments here. Are there any other questions before I continue on? No, we seem to be okay. There's a tiny time lag on this between what I'm doing live and what you're receiving. It's probably 5 or 6 seconds or something like that. So it's not that long. But if there are any issues, please feel free to send questions into me and I'll keep an eye on it here. All right, on to the next bit then. So on Córas Sláinte Lahanokado, Ní Doilum. I don't think Gwil Faimanok na Servisha Sláinte. So if there was a phrase that you should try and learn off, it is this one, because it's amazing how many people are simply unable to spell that. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it simply means the HSE. That's all we're dealing with there. So it's the HSE, Faimanok na Servisha Sláinte, the Health Service Executive. Faimanok is the executive. The next bit then, question just came in there from Alair, would it be worth going into that much depth in the oral? Regarding the health service, you may not use you won't use all this kind of material in the oral on the health service, because you won't be able to just rattle on for, quite some time. You've got to, accept that you're going to only get to say a certain amount in the exam itself. So I wouldn't be saying that you'll be able to use all of it. You'll be able to use some of the vocabulary, of course. All right. So Nidolum could find Service Sláinte now on the 5 minute rating. I don't think they're going to be able to solve a rate to solve all their problems. Derna Sanolaha, the experts and Trauctory Egsula and various commentators say, Gur Astruchturu and Chorish Leish Atadi Finamsha. So they're saying that it's the restructuring, Astruchturu and Chorish Leish, the restructuring of the health service is what's required. Begara Huin and Sale means that her lifespan was short. Emer, okay. Next bit. Came forward there too. Why do you say that? Well, being a Hained Egendola Plodaha. So the emergency units emergency departments are Plodaha Ladina the low istiha. They're packed with people the low istiha, morning, noon and night. Binche Jacker Kurum Laisha all. It's difficult to get health care in Ireland, in a hospital. Quirter Obradi Riochtanacha Erkel. Essential operations are postponed. A new Sershin, on top of all that, Níl na húdarás ag dulling leis an bhrídín marfach MRSA. So on top of all that, the authorities are not getting to grips with the leis an bhrídín marfach, with the deadly bug MRSA. Being níos mó imní ar ortha, certain patients are more worried about faoi hulga an galar MRSA, about contracting MRSA, nó mar bhíonn siad orthú dul faoin scín, than they are about going under the knife. In other words, than they are about having an operation. Okay, so tá gá alt eile fága going an seo. So we're doing pretty okay in the time, so hopefully we'll be finished in about 5 or 10 minutes. Mar iirecht chun teacht a réiteach as part of an effort to find a solution. Cuirg mé cúpla mulla I láthair inis. I'll put forward a few recommendations. A mulla is a recommendation. Cúpla mulla is a recommendation. Saláthair, deliver, provide, whichever way you want to go with, but provide in this case. Saláthair I bhfad níos mó na héagóracha ar the injustices. Saláthair I bhfad níos mó lápacha paibli. Deliver, provide more public beds, lápacha paibli sna hotherlana, so to provide more public beds in hospitals. In Estig, níos mó airgid, invest more money sna doctorí teilig, in the family doctors. Mar tá tromlach na nochtorí sin, because the majority of those doctors, tishigan plural, so be careful with that. Tromlach na nochtorí sin, den túrim nar féidir lo an brú a cheasamh níos mó. So the majority of those doctors are of the view, your GPs are of the view that they can't continue or can't stand the pressure anymore. Cuir breis otharchar ar fáil sna counter iargúlta, so make more otharchar, breis otharchar, more additional ambulances available sna counter iargúlta in remote areas. Fostig breis banaltrí agus doctorí córlacha, provide jobs for or employ more nurses agus doctorí córlacha and consultant doctors sna príomh hospital. Ach cintig, but make sure gohfuil siad ar fáil de chuile othair, but make sure cintig gohfuil siad ar fáil de chuile othair seach lá na seachtaine, but make sure they're available to every patient 7 days a week. Dírig achfaní argadis, direct or focus financial resources ar na mór onad lárnatha on the major centres of excellence, or centres of excellence, or the new centres of excellence a gheall an tarad that the minister promised cúpla bliain ó hin, a couple of years ago. Agus ceannig trealamh or technoliachta, and by trealamh is equipment, ceannig is by, or technoliachta is kind of very high tech, so high tech equipment needs to be bought. A chothóig éifeachtacht unto that will support or will lead to efficiency in them. So éifeachtacht is efficiency. Aimsig, find or locate, agus fustig and employ specialtory argadish, financial specialists, should I say, con Paul Dove an Córas Sláinte a réiteach, to solve the black hole of the health service. Paul Dove an Córas Sláinte a réiteach, to solve the black hole of them. So Salari Wad níos mó lápacha líise would be deliver far more. Salari Wad iwad far more. Níos mó would be just more, so iwad far more. Salari Wad níos mó lápacha, deliver far more beds. Okay. Now we come to just the last paragraph now, so if you have questions, now's the time to start putting them in here, because I can run back through them in a few moments with you. Kegwil dúchlan olvura la soru gwen. Even though we have some massive challenges, dúchlan olvura, even though we have some massive challenges to overcome, Madar leis an Córas Sláinte regarding the health service in Ireland, Camí de bheith feinach, we have to be patient, agus tishcanach and understanding ignam céine at the same time. Mar der an seanachal, as the old saying goes, tagan grásta de la faina. Patience wins the grace of God. That's a lovely phrase, actually, that you definitely should kind of throw in a few different places. So we all got to be patient right now. Tigan gach dina réúnta, every reasonable person understands nach féidir linn na feibhne go léir réiteach harithe. So everyone understands we can't solve these problems overnight. Being buéil an goni, there's always a danger go níró meets that we will focus. Na politoid in quid is mo, the politicians for the most part. Na dúchláin is prani. So here's a nice phrase again. On the most urgent or most pressing challenges. Agus gynnyenimi darmad umlan, and that will make will totally forget. Gynnyenimi darmad umlan will totally forget an blanal ad termach and long-term planning. Ma Irene Lynn, if we manage to Sláinte nua a yara to design a new course, agus a Coróinvíreas, and to put into effect, Tavistig the Réimse réúnta within a reasonable period, agus choras inglacha, agus choras chusta, should I say, inglacha, and at an acceptable cost. Beidir godárlóig an cléochlú. Perhaps the transformation that is required atá tilta ó chánaí góirí that has been deserved or earned by taxpayers agus ó Hérónigh and from citizens of this country. So perhaps the transformation that citizens and taxpayers of this country deserve will happen. Is olch an ré nach séden de ruine eigen. Again a shanokal, it's an ill wind that blows no good for some person. Alright? So I'm just going to take a moment before I go into just the grammar section of today and take a look at what it is that you could be doing to improve on the grammar side. So I'm just going to go in here now and take a look at some of the questions that people have as well. I want to go in here. Where are we gone? There's a chat. So we'll take a look at some of the questions that people have here. And I'll see what it is. Okay. So is this a structured essay that you can reproduce in an exam, or is it just multiple useful phrases? So this is directly to answer your question. This is a structured essay. You can use this essay exactly as it is. Question came in earlier. How long should the essays be? Your essays need to be between 500 and 600 words. That's the standard guideline. I normally advise people you need to be writing about the kind of 600 as a minimum would be my advice. But quality is better than quantity, and a lot of people have this kind of completely crazy idea that if I write 1,000 words because I've loads of time, that somehow that's going to improve my grade. It's not. That is simply not the case. You have to remember the person correcting your exam is there to correct a 650 word essay, or thereabouts. They don't want to be correcting 1,000, 1,200 words. But on top of that, you're doing yourself a huge disservice because you're simply diluting your information, and you're not going to, let's say on a topic, you're not going to make it any better by just throwing down every single thing. It'd be better to think about what you use on the day. So the idea of these essays, these are exemplars. They're over the word count, but they're over the word count on purpose. It's to give you choice. And if you go into any of the work that I do in my essay work, you will see that it's always designed to give you choice and designed to give you the best possible phrases. I like this idea that you might have a kind of a standard, at least one really good phrase or one key piece of vocabulary every sentence, every second sentence as a minimum. You can't keep hitting the high notes every single sentence, but the way you say things in every sentence should be good quality. So I will be talking about essay planning in one of the lessons, probably early next week we'll do it. We'll look at essay planning and how you can actually improve the style of your writing, the way you go about it. Let's just take a look at a few more questions coming in here. What topics would I suggest we study for the essay? I struggle with Irish and I like having structure. Okay. I think you have to be very, very careful what you decide to study. There's no point in trying to produce something on the health service if you can't even get your head around it. If you have a passion for something, it always helps. So if it's about young people's health, if it's about technology, If you're particularly passionate about the environment, we'll be looking at an essay in the next few days about the environment. You know, if you've got a particular passion, that's where you want to be. That's something you want to do. And I'd strongly recommend that. Now, a very good question from Niamh, and I actually want to address this now because this is a hugely important question. Will it be more likely for the essay or likely for the Irish health system to come up, or a more general title due to the virus being an international, not just a national crisis? Now, the exam papers that you are due to sit were set way before the virus arrived, and the coronavirus will not come up as a title. That is a certainty. It's simply not going to happen. But what is possible is there always could be, an international problem. There's always a general title there somewhere along the line where there's an issue in the world, and maybe health service might come up as a national problem. But you've got to be careful here that you don't just follow what's happening right now and think, oh, my essay is going to be that because of what's happening around us. Okay, so that's a great question, Niamh. Just send in any more questions there for a minute, and I'll do the last little bit, which is just looking at a little grammatical point. So we'll just take a look at this for a second, if I can. And I'll just bring back up the chat here, or the screen here. So during this lesson, we saw a couple of different things. And I'll be going through Taoiseach Ginneadh stuff at a later point in another day. But here's a couple of great, relatively simple examples of where one of the most common changes in the Taoiseach Ginneadh we have is EA going to I. Okay? So, and these three are perfect examples of it. EA goes to I. And I'll just explain that now in one tiny second. So EA goes to I. All three of these are EA goes to I. Obviously, arrogate is repeated. You normally spell arrogate as AIRGEAD. But in the Taoiseach Ginneadh, where you've got two nouns coming together, right? You've got gauntas, which is a shortage, and then you've got arrogate, which is money. The second one goes into Taoiseach Ginneadh. So the change is EA goes to I. So you can see there the EA goes to I. Here it's the same thing, sufficient. Now this is to do what I call coniacht or quantity, when you're talking about an amount of something. So dohan, enough of money. Dohan argid, again, argid changed to EA goes to I. And here you've got two nouns together. Curum is care, Leish is health. So Curum Leish is health care. So same thing, EA goes to I. Another example of EA goes to I are lists of waiting. So waiting lists. And it's always the second noun. It's a reverse syntax in Irish, don't forget. So EA goes to I here. It's fehiv, is waiting. EA goes to I. Another one is, no, not an EA goes to I. We've got a simpler example here, where you simply just put in the letter I. Okay? So, ufos on down is of the world. On down is normally spelled D-O-M-H-A-N. Stot, curum on stoit. Here you've got Brone, and here you've got Argadish, financial resources, and here you've got Córas. All of these are just examples of where you just slender it out. You put in an I. Okay, now Quail, Lahan, I'm dying to know, do people even know what that is? But there's 9 examples of why you would need to know the Taoiseach, or should know the Taoiseach Ginneadh as part of your preparation for the Leaving Cert, and trying to get, I suppose, the best possible information out there. Okay, so we're coming to 5 to 1 almost. Cuid Noe Kun Ahain. We've been on since 12 o'clock. I have enjoyed doing this lesson enormously, and thank you so much for coming in. If you could, and if you would, I would very much appreciate if you could go to our webpage, Leavingcertirish.com, or go to our courses page, courses.leavingcertirish.com. All of the information that you're getting right now was premium material, available only for a charge up until until last night, essentially. And I have a system there, courses.leavingcertirish.com. If you go to the website or anywhere, you are in the YouTube video, there's a link underneath it, you can click on it. Basically, I cut the price of every single thing down to one simple fee, €50. It'll probably work out at something like €1 a day from now until you go back to school. It's to make it accessible to everyone. I will do the classes for free. You can, Sean has a very good question. If you go in, you can preview it. Yeah, so if you go into that courses section now, Sean, you can actually click on the previews of some of what's there. What's there right now is all of the oral material is there, completely there. And what I'm going to do is there'll be a new schedule put into that premium course later on this afternoon, where you'll be able to see all of the lessons that are going to be covered. There will be new features going in there that wouldn't previously have been in there that will help you. Because you're at home, you'll be doing a lot of work on things like flashcards for me. And I'll be looking to get as much material in there as well, additional to the classes that we're doing. So obviously it's impossible for me to provide this entirely for free. I need a certain number of people to come in and support this. So I really would appreciate whatever you could do there. I can absolutely guarantee you the support you would get from me. By the way, if you're in that course as well, you also get to deal with me on the chat functions under each of the lessons each day. So again, I can explain that at a later point. I'm playing a bit of catch up for the last few days because I've been trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do, exactly what we're going to provide to people, and I hope you understand that it's been a kind of I have a lot of existing customers who've paid the premium price, and I obviously have to take care of them as well, and I will take care of them in other ways. But this is a national, I suppose, emergency at some level. You definitely need some assistance going forward. Your teachers are definitely going to be helping you in many different ways. But as I say, I'm in the unique position that I have a full studio built here. I have a whole setup around this that will hopefully help you. So I'm looking forward to the next few weeks. It's going to be a very, very busy couple of weeks for all of us. And I welcome any feedback, particularly, so you can leave comments in the comments section here, or you can send me an email to admin@Leavingcertirish.com, or send me a text. By the way, does anybody want to ring this little phone and ask a question? We can go live, put you on loudspeaker if you want to do that. There are other ways, other kinds of software you can use to do that, but to be honest, YouTube and the simplicity of YouTube is the easiest way for people to contact me. Now, please don't ring me after the session, because I have a lot of other business to do. I'll take calls for free from people who are not subscribers during the session if you need to do that. But obviously, I've a lot of other people I have to deal with. I have my own students to do it as well today. So I won't be taking calls. That phone will be turned off more or less, or put in silent for most of the rest of the day. But send me text, send me whatever feedback you have, because my aim is to make this as good as possibly can be done. Let's see where we go. Questions are coming in there about shannuckles in particular. Yeah, you really do need to try and have a nice shannuckle or two for your essays, and I always try to include them. There's a few different ways to do it, but certainly that would be a really nice thing to do. So I might do a lesson someday on shannuckles, just show you ones that are relevant to different topics, if that's something that you'd like. So the phone isn't ringing, and given that the phone isn't ringing and it's nearly time to go, we will cut this now, and we'll be back tomorrow. Every day, share this information. You can get the notes for today for free. It's a free preview on courses.Leavingcertirish.com. You can get the notes for today, just click on it, download the notes away. There's a free section as well on courses.Leavingcertirish.com that you can go in and take a look at. The entire Strop Pictor, I meant to say that, the entire Strop Pictor course is done in that. Now, you should have your Strop Pictor done at this stage, but if you're still a bit iffy on a few of them, and let me see, I suppose Drochheimscher and Givrig is one of the ones that people are always in trouble with, but you could go in and take a look at any of those. And main thing is share our link, just the web page link, Leavingcertirish.com. The live links will be live every day, so you can send that link out to people every day. and let's just see how many people we can help. So there's been loads of you on here today. It's been a huge class. It's not the biggest one I've done. I had about 700 people there a couple of years ago, and on a storm Emma, I think we called it at the time. And I'm sure the numbers are going to increase, but regardless of the numbers, I can service as many people as possible through this system, and I'm really looking forward to the next couple of weeks. And please don't panic. Try and stay calm. Try and remain focused. This will work itself out. We'll find a way. There's no question. And anything I can do to help you, I will try to do. And again, just a small plug again, if you could support us, courses.leavingcertirish.com. It's €50, price of one grind, and believe you me, you'll never want to do grinds again. Or at least that's what I'd be hoping. Alright, Gurmir Magriv, thank you for the comments, thank you for the chat, and Tasulagum Gavek Mishiv, Amorach, Egman Leid, midday, every day, Ashamach. Gurmir Magriv, Slán a Guif.